Hey, I'm Mark Romanack. Thanks for tuning in to Fishing 411. And this week's episode, we're fishing with our good buddy, Josh Crabtree. So what do you think that means? Steelhead. Stick around.
Third rod goes. He takes a fish like this, throws it over his shoulder, ends up front, grabs the rod.
How long are you running? 6, 7 foot?
About 5 foot usually.
5 on a little long.
Nice.
That's a good start. Okay, good job, guys.
Well, by taking the hook here and just dragging it across my nail, if there's any resistance there and it pulls up on the flesh there, that's how I know that I've got a good bite and that's going to dig into the fish's mouth. If it just slides across there and doesn't dig, then I need to sharpen that hook. So this way I know that when a fish gets a hold of that, it is going to find its way into the flesh. He's not going to have a chance to feel it and push it off.
What we're going to do is we're going to run some side planers. These are OR34 mini boards, so we can get a couple more lines out. Here in the beautiful state of Michigan, you can run 3 lines a person. So we're going to run 6 lines, 3 on each side. And what I'm going to do first is get that line in that front release. I'm going to pull it up just a little bit because that loop I want to be about that big right there. Then I'm going to go ahead and take this back release and I'm going to place it on the line as well. And so what I've got now, once the planer board is hooked on there, what I can do is I can actually cast it into position. So I'm just going to just flip it out here and get it out to the side, like so. And I'll just feed a little bit of line out. And when I put this in gear, it'll start playing its way out to the side, and it's just going to expand out our rig, give us a little bit more coverage, and hopefully maybe contact us a couple more fish. The OR34 mini board has been on the market for a number of years, and it's primarily been marketed towards things like crappie fishing and pan fishing, but it also works very well for river steelhead fishing. And now recently they've improved the board a little bit. They've added a float to the top of the board. And why is that important? Well, I think it's important because it gives the board more stability. It allows it so you don't have to just set it at the side of the board. You could actually cast it into positions where you might want that board to position it. So a floating mini board is a good thing. It's a great thing for crappie fishing. It's a great thing for stream fishing, for steelhead and other species. It's going to help you catch more fish. Inside board. Nope, he didn't hook up. Yeah, he's there.
Holy crap, I can't get the rod out of the holder. I think he's gone. Yep, he's gone.
He hit it twice, actually, I think. Our guest this week was Josh Crabtree, and I actually met Josh about 3 years ago at a sports show. He came up and introduced himself. We started chit-chatting a little bit about fishing. Next thing you know, we started talking about steelhead fishing, and he started talking to me about how good the fishing was on the Kalamazoo River, and I had no clue. And so one thing led to another, and since that time we fished together several times, and I've come to really appreciate his knowledge of this region, particularly steelhead fishing in the Kalamazoo. This guy really has it figured out.
Well, today we're looking at 32-degree water temperatures. So when we're winter steelhead fishing in places like the Midwest, obviously it's ice and snow everywhere. And our rivers get right down to 32 degrees and stay there. So it does affect the way the fish respond. It does make them a little bit more lethargic and not quite as hot and fast on the takes once the fish have been in the river for a little while and their bodies cooled down. Today we're up to 32.8 degrees right now in the afternoon. So the river actually does change temperature. It'll be right at about 32 and it'll warm up to 32 and a half, almost 33 over the course of the day. So this is important because that means that these cold-blooded animals are the warmest, the most active in the afternoon. So as a result, we tend to target them more in the afternoon hours and not so much in the early morning hours like you would normally consider plugging for steelhead.
Well, anytime we're talking about trout and salmon, we're talking about wanting to make sure our lures not only look good, but smell good. ProCure has been on the market for a long time. It's a gel-type formula that's made from real, actual bait fish type products. And what I like about it is that the gel actually stays on the lures. Most of the fish scents that are out there, you put them on a lure, you put it in the water, and it washes right off. ProCure, the super gels stay on the baits real well. You only have to apply it about every 30 to 40 minutes.
Special considerations provided by Eagle Claw, proudly made in America since 1925. Additional considerations provided by Fishhawk Electronics. Trolling without a fishhawk is called boating.
The side planer goes. I love it. Our first hookup this morning. Oh baby. This one bit the side planer, which is a cool thing. I think this is a resident fish. This might be one of those browns that Josh was talking about.
Might be.
I'm just gonna reach up here and take this little planer board off. And it'd be nice if my fingers weren't frozen. There we go. I'll toss that out of the way for a second and we'll be back in business here. He should be straight behind the back of the boat now. Yeah, there he is. Well, the Kalamazoo River is one of those places that's kind of a sleeper. Not many people realize what caliber of fishing is available here in the Kalamazoo. I'm going to call this. I'm going to call this one a resident fish. So I got a long leader on there, Josh. So I'm going to see if I can't swing it for you here.
Yep.
1 second here. Here we go. There we go. Hey, that's Mad Clown, isn't it?
Mad Clown.
Mad Clown. Look at that beautiful, beautiful fish.
No, this is about one of the smaller ones I've seen all season.
It's not the beast you're looking for, but I'll tell you what, I'd be very satisfied with that. It's a beautiful fish. Nice fight. And cool, we got it on the planer board, which is something that most people just simply don't, that don't do. Plug fishing is common. I mean, when you talk about plug fishing for steelhead, just about everybody is doing that. But combining side planers with plugs, Josh is one of the very few guys that are doing this, and it's very, very effective. Spreads out your rig, puts extra lines in the water, and as you can see, it caught us a bonus steelhead today.
We love to let these fish grow up. This one here has got a lot of growing up to do, so we'll, oh, he's just wanted to go, so we'll let him go.
You know, earlier we caught a fish on a side planer, and if you're going to get involved in running mini planers like this for steelhead, and you're setting plug setups, you're going to want to set your planers first and then set your flat lines afterwards. The reason you're going to want to do that, it'll help avoid any line tangles. Definitely don't want any line tangles when you're steelhead fishing.
So the way we're plug fishing today and catching these steelhead is something completely different from what you're going to read about how to plug fish. What we're doing today is actually forward trolling through slots of water, flats, areas that hold these fish, and the current's slow enough that we're actually moving forward through these runs. We're driving over the top of these fish, and then the lures are showing up, and we're still getting bit. Now, anybody that has been fishing steelhead for a long time knows that these fish can be spooky. So why does this work? Number one, the fish are safe where they feel down on the bottom. Number two, these fish are very aggressive. And when they see all this stuff going on, they want to know what's going on. So what we're doing is taking advantage of those little things. And sure, some fish may get spooked and some fish will dart to the side, but a lot of those fish then see the lure and they double right back, or they get put off and antsy and they want to know what's going on and they slam those lures. So forward trolling actually really does work. In surprisingly shallow situations, sometimes as little as 3.5 feet. But it's really all about presenting that lure to those fish and letting them have that reaction, that response to the mag lip when that lure comes up on them. They're hearing it, they're seeing it, there's a lot of noise, a lot of stuff going on, and it just drives them nuts.
Much higher quality fish than I thought initially.
Are we clear on this line? Oh, I can see them, yep.
Yep.
I can see the fish.
So, looks like a beautiful fish.
I'm gonna rearrange this. Yep, get out of your way.
Look at that. Now we're in gear. Now we're in gear. I'm just gonna move forward here a little bit. It's one of the nice things about winter steelhead fishing is that these fish are big and powerful. When you get your first eyeball on them, I mean, it just takes your breath away, doesn't it, Josh? I don't care how many of these you catch.
3.5 mag lip.
Yeah, they just take your breath away when you see them.
Beautiful.
It looks like maybe a hen here.
Beautiful color.
I just love catching these fish. Look at that. I mean, if that doesn't just take your breath away. Well, let me see here, sir. I think I might have this fish under control.
Yeah, they like to let you think that.
Well, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. They're doing that. They got to start doing that roll. That's what scares me.
We get a real opportunity here. We'll snag this guy. Okay. Oh, these hook's good.
Okay, well, let's bring him up here.
Face full of mag lip there.
Might get his head up for you. Ah, nicely done, Josh. Nicely done. Oh my goodness. Well, I got to hold this one up for the camera. This is what we came
beautiful.
for right here.
Beautiful fish.
Mad clown. Okay, well, let's show this one off. What a stellar fish. Love these steelhead. They're just so pretty. They fight so hard. And I just can't say enough about catching them on plugs. It's just, there's a lot of great ways to catch fish, isn't there, Josh?
There is, but I just got to say thank you, Yakima, because this is about the funnest way there is to catch them.
I got to say something too. Is that that's Mad Clown? Is that what that one's called?
Mad Clown.
I've caught a few fish on Mad Clown, but it's always been with you. I've never been able to catch a steelhead in that color anywhere else. Is it the Kalamazoo or is it Josh that makes this happen?
This lure will work on low light conditions where we have this gray background and fairly clear water. It's just something to think about. Keep that in your toolkit.
Okay. Well, like I say, every time I fish with you, I pick up a tip or two. And like I say, that's just not a color I would normally grab out of the tackle box. All right, sweet girl. You did good by us. We're going to do good by you. Back you go, like a shot. Woo!
Special considerations provided by Bait Rigs Tackle, America's innovator of fine fishing products. Additional considerations provided by the Ultimate Sports Show Tour, Michigan's premier sports shows.
It's early fall, and now is the perfect time to cure some salmon eggs that we're going to use later in the fall, later in the winter for things like steelhead and brown trout fishing. The problem with curing salmon eggs is it kind of can be a daunting task for a lot of people. But ProCure, they've got a new liquid cure that absolutely takes all the mess out of it, takes all the fuss out of it, and makes it super simple. In fact, they even call it idiot-proof. What I got here is a couple of skeins out of a coho, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a scissors and I'm going to cut it in half, first of all, to make it a little bit more manageable. And then to open it up a little bit, I'm just going to kind of butterfly it a little bit here so that the cure can get into the eggs a little bit. Now once I've done that, I'm just going to lay them in these little containers I've got here. I've got another one here that I'll butterfly real quick. Lay that open, put that one in there, same thing. And I'm leaving these in the skein because later when these are cured, I'm going to be able to use these on a bobber or for back bouncing if I want. So all I have to do is just open them up a little bit so that the cure can get in here. Lay them in there. One more. Okay, now once I've got them into these containers, and these are just inexpensive containers I bought at the dollar store, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these liquid cures. They come in different colors. One of my favorite colors just happens to be this red hot. First thing you're going to have to do is shake it up really good. You have to mix the chemicals up in here really, really good. Once you got it shook up really good, all you're going to do is pop the top and literally just pour this liquid right over top of your eggs, and you're going to put just enough in it that the eggs start to float. That's all it's about. Put the top back on it, kind of settle it out a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my top on here and then just take a little Sharpie and mark what I have in here. So at this point what I can do is take this and put it in the refrigerator for about 4 hours. After about 4 hours, I'm going to flip it upside down, and that just basically lets the chemicals work themselves back through the eggs again for another 4 hours. After that, I'm going to take out the eggs, put them in a colander, and just let the extra juice pour off. And when they're kind of dry, I'm going to put them right back in the same container, put it back in the freezer, and when I need them in October or November or December, I'm gonna have fresh eggs that are cured, perfect for fishing. Oh, fish on the outside board.
Fish.
There you go.
Yep. Oh, he's mad.
Very good. Let me cut in front of you here, Josh, and I'll try and see if I can get some of these lines out of the way.
Not
for
a
you.
monster, but pissy.
Oh my goodness. That didn't take very long, sir. That didn't take very long at all.
What do you got? We got ourselves a steely.
Let me see if I can get that board off for you, Josh.
You, sir, are a steely-eyed missile man.
There you are. He's trying to get into all of our lines, isn't he?
Yeah, we ain't gonna put up with that nonsense.
I haven't had a chance to get the ones off that side of the boat out of the way yet.
I'm not moving him right now, though.
That's the drawback
Uh-oh.
to running 6 lines. Is you
Uh-oh.
got some to clear.
He's pretty much doing what he wants to do right now. Oh, it might be a little bigger than I thought.
I'm gonna go over this side from you.
Cool.
We're doing a little crankbait dance here is what we're doing.
I gotta tell you, I just love steelhead fishing out here on this river. This particular spot, we're down about as far downriver as we can get without having to go through a marsh. And this river has a couple big extensive marshes. That's one of the reasons why we're seeing bald eagles down here and stuff like that. A lot of beautiful habitat down here. Duck hunters love it. And guess what? We love it steelheading too.
All right, I think I finally got most of the gear cleaned up out of the way. Well, that's a quality fish there, man.
Yeah, real pretty little fish. Beautiful color on her. Or no, him.
We're gonna take her right here in front of this other planer board line, I think. Then we'll wrap up on there now. Stay nice here. That's a good looking fish. There we go. Nicely done, Josh.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Metallic gold flame.
Spitting mad. Look how healthy that fish is. Look at that beautiful dorsal. This fish is in great shape. Great shape. Wow. Whew, doesn't get much better than nailing them with mag lips like that.
Fish is hooked beautiful too. That's exactly the way I want them hooked. It's just solid right in the corner. I mean, if you take a look at how that fish is, is hooked up, it doesn't get any better than that. With the, when a fish bites and that treble hook comes back into the corner of his mouth, we pretty much own that fish. He's not going to come off, and that's exactly what we're looking for.
All right. I think this guy deserves to swim away. You ready?
Perfect. Let's talk for a second about the hooks that are suitable for plug fishing. By and large, the most common hook that you're going to see on plugs or crankbaits are these round bend trebles like I have in my hand. They're tried, they're tested, they're true, they've been out there for many, many years. You're also going to notice that in recent years, a new style of wide bend hook, or some people call them Cayley treble hooks because of the shape of the hook itself, they have a little bit different function. Because they're wider bend, what happens with that hook is a fish that does bite is much more likely to be stuck and kept stuck on the hook. So overwhelmingly, we're seeing more people go to the Cayley hook as years go by. But still, the old-fashioned round bends like I have in my hand are still very efficient, and that's the treble hook you're going to see on just about every crankbait in America.
Additional considerations provided by ProCure, ruthlessly effective bait suds.
Well, we're going to take a break from the action here for a second and talk to Josh, because what you do with plugs is very, very unique. You don't fish any of your plugs the way they come out of the package. You pretty much customize everything, don't you?
I really do, Mark, and it boils down to my confidence and my belief that that it's going to pay off over time. We're able to make it more effective, hook up with more fish, hold on to those fish, getting more of those bites actually in the boat.
Well, I can see some clear differences here. First of all, you're only going with a tail hook. You take the belly hook off. So explain a little bit why you don't want the belly hook on these baits.
For one thing, we're making this better at avoiding snags. Okay. This lure is going to come up and over, even going backwards. The hooks go backwards first, and you don't have that belly hook rubbing over things. And then the biggest reason is we take that away from the fish, that he doesn't have that second hook to leverage against. Now that fish gets 2 hooks in his mouth, and he's able to twist that lure around this way and roll around in the water. He will rip one hook free, Maybe that's the good hook you had in them, maybe it's not.
Okay.
And eventually you'll lose fish. But it was honestly, it was a difficult choice for me to make because I have caught a lot of fish on that front hook, but not anymore.
All right, I can see something else here that's clear. The tail hook, significantly bigger than the factory hook. Talk to me about that.
Yes, the oversized hook, obviously that's always a good thing when it comes to holding on to fish. And the mag lip is a strong enough lure that it can handle that extra tail weight. You don't want to go too far with it. I go to about a size 1 or even a smaller size 2 on a mag lip 3.5. But adding that second split ring there too is also important. So that fish can twist with it and whatnot.
All right, so that's so the leveraging, you can't leverage the hook out.
Exactly. Yep, so basically we just do that. We go with the wide bend treble. We hold on to our fish better. I know that when I've stuck that fish, he's on there. He's not coming loose. And even in the worst case of scenarios, I can open that bail, free flow some line, and come back to him. He's still there.
Wow. Now that's an endorsement. That's really something special. What a
Beautiful gold flame. Or mad clown.
Look at that.
Oh yeah.
You're lucky to live where you live here because literally within an hour's drive, you can be in a half a dozen really good steelhead waters.
And I do enjoy fishing them all.
Yeah.
But the Kalamazoo does hold a special spot for me. And it is a special little river.
Well, you look around. Have we seen a boat today? One. That was this morning, wasn't it?
That's right.
We've had the river to ourselves literally all day long.
There's
and
not
that's
many
been a pleasure.
places we're going to catch steelhead like that and be able to say that.
Well, that's for sure. That is for sure. We're doing a lot of moving of rods and stuff around.
All right, that is
We finally got him under control here. Look at that fish.
Nice,
Is he not
nice fish.
gorgeous? Just take a look at that beautiful fish. Oh, let me get him a little closer for you.
I took a risk there.
That has got a belly on it. Yeah. Now that is a stud fish right there.
Beauty.
You know, I catch a lot of these, and every one I catch is just my heart pounds out of my chest. I can't get enough of this.
It doesn't get old. Not when you're slamming them like this. Yakima mag lip, Day Shoots Dazzler this time.
You know, that's a color that I don't normally use, and in fact, I think quite honestly, it might be the first steelhead I've ever caught in that color.
Me too.
So, there you go. It's a first for us. Hey, my name is Mark Romanack, and you've been watching Fishing 401. I'd like to thank Josh Crabtree for taking us out and showing us a little bit about what the Kalamazoo River is all about. If you get an opportunity to come down this way and fish, I think you'll find it's a plug fishing paradise.
Ooh yeah.
Closed captioning is provided by Fishhawk Electronics. Fishing 411 is brought to you by Offshore Tackle, Yakima Bait, Starcraft Marine, Jay's Sporting Goods, Cisco Fishing Systems, Smooth Moves, Precision Trolling Data, Niagara Falls, USA, Motor Guide Electric Motors, and Lowrance Electronics.
All right, come on, picture.
The fish dance.
Gotta dance around a little bit now. Woo! Put some warm energy out there.
You need a bigger boat if you're going to do that, so you get more animated, so you can get up on the,
That's
on
what
the
I'm
decks
saying.
and really go and really let yourself.